Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug by Peter Jackson, starring Martin Freeman and Ian McKellen. I just watched the first film, An Unexpected Journey, on the channel, so do check that out when you have the time. I generally enjoyed the film, but it definitely had its issues, which I talk about in my review. Nonetheless, it did set up the story of Bilbo's adventure. It also established the dwarves and their struggles against Smaug the dragon, who took over their home and gold. A personal rivalry was also set up between the leader of the dwarves, Thorin, and Azog. We also got to see the One Ring being found by Bilbo and a little bit of Gollum, which was absolutely awesome. Last we saw was Smaug waking up while the company was rescued by eagles, summoned by Gandalf, I think, with those butterflies. I don't know what to expect from this one, but I don't think we'll get to see too much of Smaug because it was the same in the Rings trilogy. The main antagonist in that one, Sauron, wasn't a huge part of the active plot. It's mostly about the journey, I get that. And I know that there's still, 6 hours left to go in this trilogy, so there should be more filler material like the first one. I just hope it's entertaining filler. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to over 110 movies, early access and weekly polls for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below, by the way. Please consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Jackson, Freeman, McKellen. Let's go. With the Shire music, but we don't start at the Shire, unlike the first one. Okay, it's Bree on the borders of the Shire. That's Peter Jackson. That was Peter Jackson. I just saw the Prancing Pony. We've seen this place before, right? I think this is the place where he sleeps over at night and meets Aragorn. Is this a flashback?
I'm to find you on you.
Gandalf.
I've had the same.
Yeah, this is most likely a flashback.
You think he's dead?
Father! Stay back! No! I will fight with you!
Azog means to kill us all.
But at the end of that battle, I searched amongst the slain, till the last body. My father was not among the dead.
Take back your homeland.
It was Gandalf's advice.
Summon a meeting of the seven dwarf families.
The Seven Armies swore that oath to the one who wields the king's jewel.
We saw that in the first half of the first film.
What if I were to help you reclaim it? Which is why we're going to need a burglar.
Ah, that is why they go to the Shire and find Bilbo. Azog. Well, the cinematography is really beautiful. The Desolation of Smaug.
I'm trying to tell you, there is something else out there.
There is a Ahaz. He will help us, or he will kill us.
Love the stark difference between the color grading of the daytime and the nighttime.
He's a skin changer. However, he is not over fond of dwarves. You'll be safe here tonight.
Margyam.
Azog is already here.
Shulinari. Arangish. Torkul Torakizik.
The Master? The One Ring.
Zad Thlakagrishu. Snakurak.
This is the Master.
Thrakul Bilakarnuak. Nash.
Oh man, yeah, that's a good transformation scene.
You must tread very carefully. The rest of you just wait here and don't come out until I give the signal.
It's even taller than Gandalf.
You may have noticed that we took refuge in your lodgings here last night.
He's not a dwarf, is he?
He's a hobbit. You are absolutely right.
Go,
No, it
go,
was
go.
terrible.
Oh no, that's not the signal.
Warren.
Nori.
Yes, and Nori both.
Is that it? Why is Azog the Defiler hunting you?
You know of Azog?
How? The Defiler killed most of my family.
There are others like you.
Once there were many.
And now?
Now there's only one. I don't like dwarves, but orcs I hate more.
Yeah, I think these are the horses we saw outside his home.
You will leave my ponies before you enter the forest.
Oh, it's ponies. Yeah.
Deep within the rock, they buried him.
I remember a time when a great evil ruled these lands. If that enemy has returned to Middle-earth,
I think they're talking about Sauron. These shots of them traveling with the beautiful landscape in the background, they never get old.
This forest feels sick.
I think he feels the power of the ring.
Not my horse! I need it! You've changed, Bilbo Baggins. What did you find?
Oh, the ring is compelling him not to speak.
my courage.
You must stay on the path. Do not leave it. If you do, you'll never find it again.
Yeah, these scenes look straight out of a fairy tale.
Shouldn't have done that.
We can definitely hear a heartbeat, but I don't know why. That is like literally the worst thing Bilbo could have done, because that's how spiders sense their prey, right?
We've lost the sun.
Jeez. His mind is clear again. They need the sun.
We're almost there! Hello?
Oh man. And it's just not one spider, it's like an entire colony of them. I did not expect that at all. And he can turn invisible. He understands them.
Where is it?
Oh no, no. The ring theme, mixed with something new.
Mine.
Mine! And this time we properly get to hear the ring theme. He's confused and lost. And scared. It's Legolas! He's the best with a bow and arrow.
Give it back! That's private!
What is this horrid creature? A goblin mutant.
That's my wee lad, Gimli.
That's Gimli's father.
Lauren, where's Bilbo?
Oh, Bilbo's not with the group. Wow. Beautiful set design.
Aren't you going to search me? I could have anything down my trousers.
Or nothing.
I think he likes her.
I'm on a Tirgin Tauriel.
Udanada.
There are gems in the mountain that I too desire. I offer you my help.
A favor for a favor.
We offer you a deal.
You did.
Again, Gandalf just disappeared, and I have no idea where he is.
They are spawning in the ruins of Dol Guldur. If we could kill them at their source.
That fortress lies beyond our border.
Legolas thinks of me as no more than a captain in the guard.
Perhaps he did once. Now, I'm not so sure.
Legolas also likes her, so a love triangle.
Do not give him hope where there is none.
Some elves are so pretentious.
The stone in your hand. What is it?
My mother gave it to me so I'd remember my promise.
What promise?
That I would come back to her. She thinks I'm reckless. So I left. And then it appeared.
Legolas doesn't like this.
Bilbo!
Shut up.
There are guards nearby!
He is performing the tasks of a burglar.
This way. Gwaihun!
I love the prop here. They actually built this.
Well done, Master Baggins.
Oh no. Elves are so awesome as warriors. Incredible balance by Legolas.
Tauriel! Garthol!
Finally cut to Gandalf. Wow. Even though these films have their faults, they're really beautiful.
Why am I here, Gandalf?
The tomb did look empty.
One of a number. One of 9.
One of 9!
We've been blind, Radagast. And in our blindness, the enemy has returned.
I'm more and more sure they're talking about Sauron and the Nazgul.
We keep moving.
To where?
To the mountain.
Excuse me, but you're from Lake Town, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think we've met this character before.
No one enters Lake Town but by leave of the master. You would need a smuggler.
For which we would pay double. The young one. The black-haired archer.
Gilly.
He'll be choking on it soon.
I do not care about one dead dwarf. Answer the question.
Our time has come again.
Yeah, they're talking about the necromancer.
Manos Tauriel. Enu Nandolan.
How do we know he won't betray us?
We don't.
Quiet.
Wow, wow. I would call it a set, but it's not a set, but beautiful design nonetheless.
Goods inspection!
That's a set.
These fish are illegal. The master has his eye on you.
Dude, that's Stephen Fry. I love Stephen Fry.
Who would have the nerve to question my authority?
Stay close.
This is the world of men, and for the first time in this trilogy, we're actually seeing people.
Father, there you are. I was worried.
If you speak of this to anyone, I'll rip your arms off.
The dwarvish windlands.
Only a black arrow, fired from a windlance, could have pierced the dragon's hide.
They've found a weapon.
Then you would know that Gideon hit the dragon. One more shot and he would have killed the beast.
That's a fairy story, lad.
Where are the weapons?
You won't find better outside the city armory. All iron-forged weapons are held there under lock and key.
The king is angry, Tauriel.
Kidad wenithon o henathanim. If your father has his way, we will do nothing. Tell me, Melon, when did we let evil become stronger than us?
Thrain. Thorin.
Has the Lord of Silver Fountains returned?
I tried to stop them.
How long have they been gone?
The 5th or 6th time they got captured and they're being held prisoner without being killed.
We are the dwarves of Erebor. This was the center of all trade in the north.
If you awaken that beast, it will destroy us all.
If we succeed, all will share in the wealth of the mountain.
Hope is a powerful, powerful motivator and a weapon.
We know nothing about you. Who here can vouch for your character?
Fair point.
Me. I have traveled far with these dwarves through great danger, and if
Thorin Oakenshield gives his word, and he will keep it.
Have you forgotten what happened to Dale?
Let us not forget that it was Gillian, your ancestor, who failed to kill the beast.
Oh. That's why he feels a sense of guilt and a sense to protect the people.
Rest. Join us when you're healed.
Killy has a more larger role in this one.
You cannot take that away from him.
Philly.
I will carry him if I must.
One day you will be king and you will understand. Philly, don't be a fool. You belong with the company.
I belong with my brother.
Yeah, Killy and Philly definitely are the Merry and Pippin of this trilogy.
Did you miss the boat as well?
Keely!
Oh no.
Please, we need your help.
Get back! Alfred!
The Master's a busy man. He hasn't got time to worry about sick dwarves.
I'm done with dwarves. Go away.
He's sick.
You don't look too good. Every single time they find another exotic location for my eyes to feast on.
I need you to carry a message to the Lady Galadriel.
Up here!
They found the entrance to the door, I think. Oh!
Son of Smaug.
Thrain's alive.
Thorin. And you will see him again.
No one must enter that mountain.
I think he's still a little disillusioned.
The last light of Durin's day.
It's not here! It's not here!
Bilbo has to find the solution. They're panicking. And it looks like they're a little too late.
That's what it says.
It's over.
You can't give up now!
Exactly.
Last light.
The last light is technically moonlight. There it is. I was genuinely scared for the key for a moment.
What's that above it?
You want me to find a jewel?
A large white jewel. Yes.
Where is your master?
Very cool though. Wow. Yeah, I think it's definitely Sauron before he turned himself into an eye. It is Sauron. Impressive. I never expected Sauron and Gandalf to be face to face. And he has to find the Arkenstone. It's a literal needle in the haystack.
A large white jewel. Very helpful.
Holy crap. Oh, he can turn invisible. It speaks!
I smell you. Come now. Don't be shy.
And he has a personality.
Something you carry. Something made of gold, but far more precious.
Precious.
Who are you?
Oh no, he sees the Arkenstone.
I come from under the hill.
And what about your little dwarf friends?
How does he know?
Dwarves. No? No dwarves here.
Are we going to die?
Jeez, that's the arrow!
Why did you never tell me?
Because you did not need to know. Keep it safe.
A Sauron I know would not hesitate to go in there.
I will not risk this quest for the life of one burglar.
His name is Bilbo.
He sent you in here for the Arkenstone, didn't he?
No.
The darkness is coming. It will spread to every corner of the land. The coward's oaken shield has weighed the value of your life and found it worth nothing.
So it is true.
How do you choose to die?
Oh, this is awesome. An arrow can only mean one thing. It's the wood elves.
Did you find it? No, we have to get up.
Yeah, I think he's corrupted just a little. The CGI involving Smaug is so well done.
There's no air.
It's quite literally melting the rocks. He's as proficient with a sword as he is with the bow and arrow. I really love the scale of things here.
We don't have a ticket. Think you could deceive me, Barrel Rider?
Still calls him Battle Rider.
Perhaps it is time I paid them a visit.
Wait! You cannot go to Lake Town!
You care about them.
You witless worm!
Mark doesn't like that.
This is not your kingdom, and we will have our revenge.
Oh, the gold hasn't set in yet.
I will show you revenge.
I knew it. He's a dragon, dude. Holy golden dragon, that man. And he's heading towards Lake Town. Oh no.
Oh, misty eye.
And it ends here! Oh man, that was a proper cliffhanger. I like the ending at least. Okay, I took some time to collect my thoughts. First off, that was mostly a good film. Nowhere near any of the original trilogy films, or as good as the first one in this trilogy, but it still had more good than bad to offer. The Desolation of Smaug suffered from the middle film narrative issues where not much happens throughout the runtime. This time around there was no Frodo or Gollum to keep the nostalgia factor, but we did get to see Legolas and his awesome skills. Peter Jackson did a great job with the continuity, cinematography, music, and overall directing, but it still had the same issues that plagued An Unexpected Journey, namely the writing, the pacing, editing, the over-reliance on CGI, and quite a bit of filler material. Although I have to admit that this one had more of a serious tone, there was less humor and singing, at least in the second half of the film. Let's start with the directing by Peter Jackson and the writing by him, Philippa Boyens, Fran Walsh, and Guillermo del Toro. The film starts off fast with a flashback in the first 10 or 15 minutes where we get to see how Thorin and Gandalf meet. Jackson then cuts back to the present, showing the company still on the run from the orcs and making their way towards the Lonely Mountain. They have an encounter with giant spiders, they get caught and escape the Wood Elves, but nothing significant happens to any of the main characters in the entire first half. The only significant development, I'd say, was the budding romance between Killy and Toriel. Although I did feel some chemistry, I don't think it was justified as well as it was shown in the film. Jackson had plenty of opportunities to have more scenes of them together, but he chooses not to, which I found was a little disappointing. Furthermore, most of the runtime, they were being chased by orcs with the dwarves just one step ahead of them every time. Another thing that bothered me a little was the fact that none of the main characters die or anything. I think that would have been a bold choice to increase the agency here. Think about it. Every single one of them are alive and well by the end. This was another film where Gandalf appears and disappears, but thankfully there was less of it. I don't think he accomplished too much in this film except finding out about the Nazgul and being defeated by Sauron promptly. Last we saw of him, he was trapped and imprisoned as he helplessly watched the orc army head towards the Lonely Mountain. Another thing is that although there were many antagonists like Azog, his son, a bunch of orcs, Sauron, Smaug, of course, nothing happens to them either. Both the protagonists and the antagonists of the film, they're all doing great. I mean, they could have at least dealt with Azog's son if they didn't want to kill Azog. This film was mostly the adventures of the dwarves, with almost nothing of significance happening till the last 45 minutes. In fact, the final act of the film was the most entertaining. As I just spent a lot of time talking about what I disliked from the film, let's talk about some of the positives. I love the reveal of the necromancer as Sauron. That to me was a surprise, and I had a fun time working that out in my head as I watched the film. I also enjoyed the scene where Smaug and Bilbo interact. Smaug's personality really shines through, and his character seemed straight out of a children's book, which it is, with him saying stuff like, "He is fire, he is death." That was fairly entertaining. The cliffhanger ending was great though, with Bilbo wondering, almost contemplating whether their actions have caused the potential deaths of everyone in Lake Town. Finally, the character of Stephen Fry's The Master was very entertaining. I'm a big fan of Fry, both his acting work and his intellectual work. He's a great writer, a great debater, and he's just great in whatever production he's in. The writing of this film clearly suffered in the first half, but it did improve by the end. The directing by Jackson was very good though, especially given the script he had to work with. The editing of this film was okay. I know I watched the extended version and criticizing the length is a moot point, but I strongly believe that this film should have been a 2-hour movie, with the extended version being not more than 2.5 hours at most. In fact, I might even go as far as to say that the first 2 films should have been one 3-hour film with a 4-hour extended cut if required. But hey, that's just my opinion. Feel free to leave yours in the comments below. The cinematography of this film was amazing, just like the others. I had no complaints in this department except the CGI. And speaking of the CGI, it was very much overused, like last time, and it doesn't hold up even 7 years later. To be honest, that's a little sad. Although Smaug was beautifully designed and rendered, I cannot say the same about a lot of the other creatures, like the ones that the orcs were riding on. The shadow work and the actual movement animations, they were unrealistic and a little underwhelming for me. Furthermore, the scene in the forge, I could clearly see some low resolution textures of the molten gold. It's completely acceptable for a film with a smaller budget, but absolutely unforgivable for a film like this with a seemingly unlimited budget. I'm also a little divided on the sets this time around. I love the sets that were practically made, like most of Lake Town. The big landscape shots, they were just great. The fact that I could tell that the sets were CGI, unlike the original trilogy, goes to show the over-reliance here. I have to commend the production team overall because it did look good for the most part, but since the writing was a little weak, the other flaws stand out more, and they're just more noticeable, if you know what I mean. The music in this film was great, but the traditional themes were barely used in this one. We get to hear the Shire theme only twice, and I think the main Rings theme only in one scene. Howard Shore, however, had some original music this time around, and for the most part, it was very good, albeit not as memorable as the previous ones. It was a solid effort, just not a timeless one. Okay, moving on to the performances, let's talk about Bilbo, Thorin, Gandalf, and Smaug. Starting with Bilbo, played by Martin Freeman, he's the clear highlight of the film, and his performance as Bilbo continues to impress and surprise me. His physical acting was great, and so was his comedic timings. The subtle changes in his facial expressions as he realizes the power of the One Ring was great acting, and although his character doesn't have too much of an arc in this one, he was still very good in his role nonetheless. Thorin, played by Richard Armitage, had the second best performance of the film for me. He had the most significant arc in this movie, and he almost took a turn towards the dark side, as it was teased. He might be a little mad like his grandfather. He does come to his senses by the end and bravely but unsuccessfully fights Smaug with the rest of the dwarves. They tried killing a dragon with heat, which I found pretty funny. Anyways, I really hoped the final film would have dealt with Smaug and this film would have dealt with Azog, but no. All of them are fine so far. Speaking of Smaug, he was played by Benedict Cumberbatch. He was excellent in his role. His voice was digitally altered, but we could clearly tell from his accent and his unique and distinctive voice who it was. His character was a little cartoonish for my tastes, but I don't mind it, honestly. He took the material and he did elevate it to make his character more intimidating and larger than he was. Last we saw of him, he was on his way to destroy Lake Town, but I'm sure that won't happen. And I hope we finally get to see a resolution to that character too. Finally, Gandalf the Grey was played by Ian McKellen. I can't see any other actor in that role. McKellen is Gandalf. I just wish his character had better material to work with. Like I mentioned before, all he does in this one is discover the Nazgul's tombs before quickly being defeated by Sauron and imprisoned. I love McKellen as Gandalf, and I hope he has a larger role, or at least a more significant role in the final film. Overall, The Desolation of Smaug was a good movie. Not great, not amazing, but good. It suffers from being the middle film in a 9-hour-long trilogy adapted from a 300-page children's book. Although the writing, pacing, and the CGI could have been improved, the film was still a solid entry into Tolkien's world. The directing by Jackson was good. The performances by the main cast, they were great. Both the cinematography and the score were commendable, and the switch towards a more serious tone, at least in the latter half of the film, is highly appreciated by me. Believe it or not, I'm actually looking forward to how Azog and Smaug get defeated, how Sauron gets stronger, and what role the One Ring has in the upcoming Battle of the Five Armies. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Consider being a patron. Subscribe to the channel. Do check out my other videos. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Like if you like this video, dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one. Bye.